So in order to get the area of this here, so the question asked find the area of the blue shaded region. To find the area of the blue shaded region, you need to find the area of the square first. Okay, so I got the area of the square, 45 by 45, and that's that. Then I need to get the area of the sector, and the sector is obviously the area of a full circle, which is pi r squared, would be a full circle. But I don't want the full circle, I only want 1/4, because 90 over 360 simplifies down to 1/4. So 1/4 pi r squared. If I type that into my calculator using the pi button, I'll get it to the nearest decimal will be 1590.431281. So if I want to find the area of the blue region, I need to take the area of the full square and take away the area of the sector. So that's the full square, take away the sector, which gives me this. And if I want to give it 2 decimal places, I go back 2 decimal places, draw an imaginary line, and look at the number that follows. If it's 5 or more, that will cause this 6 to round up. If it's less than 5, then I'd leave it as 0.56, but in this case it's greater than 5, so that'll round up to 7. Okay. Okay, so we'll start off. First thing we need to do there is we need to get the area of the semicircle, because if we can get the area of the semicircle and if we can get the area of the triangle, we can take the triangle away from the semicircle and that'll give us our answer. So we'll start off with the area of the semicircle. So the area of the semicircle will be equal to a half the area of a circle, so it'd be 1/2 because it's half of a full circle, and a full circle will be pi r squared. Okay, so the area of the semicircle is half of that, so half of pi r squared. The radius in this case, it's important that you know which one is the radius. The radius is going to be 49 divided by 2, and that will give us 24.5 centimeters. Okay, so we know that the radius is equal to 24.5 centimeters. So we can fill all that in up here, and we can say 1/2 of pi, and instead of or we can say 24.5 squared. Type that all into a calculator. 1/2 pi times 24.5 squared, and it gives you an answer of 942.870.4952. Okay, so that is the area of the semicircle. We now need to go away and get the area of the triangle, right? And if we get the area of the triangle, we can subtract, we can take that away from the area of the semicircle, and that will tell us what is left, or what's the area of the green. So the second part is the area of the triangle. Okay, so the area of a triangle is half the base times the perpendicular height. So it's half the base times the perpendicular height. Okay, so half the base times the perpendicular height. The base in this case is the full length of 49, and the height is obviously the radius. So this one is going to be half the base times the height. So half of the base, which was 49, times the height, which was the radius, which is 24.5. We can see that in the question. So if this is a semicircle, this length here is a radius, this length here is a radius, so obviously the perpendicular height is going to be 24.5. So 0.5 multiplied by 49 multiplied by 24.5 gives us 600.25. So the last part is the area of the green section. So the area of the green part is going to be the full amount, which is 942.8704.952 minus 600 and 0.25. So your answer there would be 9 0.8704952. It'll be 342.620495. Okay, so that is that. If they asked in the question, in the quiz, it would have asked you to round it to 2 decimal places, I would presume. Typically I ask for 2, but go back 1, go back 2, draw a line, look at the number that follows. If that's 5 or greater, then the 2 rounds up. But in this case, it's not 5 or greater. So in this case, the answer would be 342.62, and the units in this case are centimeters squared. So that's that question done. And we'll skip on to the next one, which is also quite similar. These are all to do with compound shapes and areas, arcs, sectors, and so on. The next one was a sphere. Now, just so you're aware, this question, and they tend to do that a lot, this question came up on the ordinary level Leaving Cert. And so it came up in the ordinary level Leaving Cert. But it also, yeah, I think it was just the ordinary level Leaving Cert, I think of it. But it's interesting that it came up inside in the book for junior cert high level. Okay, so when she is on holidays in Belgium, Barbara sees the structure shown on the right. She wants to estimate the surface area of one of the spheres of the structure. She estimates that the radius of each sphere is 9 meters. So the radius of the sphere is 9 meters. Using Barbara's estimate for the radius, work out her estimate for the surface area of this sphere. Okay, so surface area of a sphere. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in the log tables there so you can see. So what I'll do is just land that in there. And you can see there the log tables, right? So the surface area is A surface area. It says here A represents the curved surface area. Obviously we're looking at a sphere, and the area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. Okay, so 4 pi r squared. So I'm just going to use that. So surface area (4 pi r squared). Okay, and this one is very, very straightforward because all I'm doing is putting in 4 pi, and instead of the radius, I'm putting in 9 to be squared. Give your answer in terms of pi, it said. Now, there was questions about this in the quiz where you asked, how can we do that? In the actual quiz, if you type that into your calculator, you'll get 324 pi, right? That's what you get. Now, in the actual quiz, I've said give your answer to 2 decimal places, but I'm just going to show you there so that you can see. So if you look there, you can see I typed that into the calculator and I got 4 pi 81 because 9 squared is 81, and it gives me an answer of 324 pi. Okay, and you can see that's what I get when I press equals. In the question, I asked you to give it a decimal place. So if you press this button here, which is S to D, which stands for standard to decimal, it brings it to decimal places. Okay, so my answer there is 324 pi is the same as 1017.87602, and I'm not sure, you have to double check when you're doing the quiz the second time around, but I think I say give that to 2 decimal places. So if it's going 2 decimal places, go back 2 decimal places, 1 2, look at the number that follows, which in this case is 6, and my answer there is 1017.88 surface area, so meters squared. Okay, that's that one. Okay. Next one. So we're just going to look at this one here. These questions were a little bit more tricky because it was giving you 2 shapes, and instead of giving you the radius and giving you everything else and asking you to work out the volume or work out whatever, they were giving you different pieces of information, asking you to work backwards. So a metal sphere of radius 18 centimeters is melted down and remolded into a solid cylinder of radius 30 centimeters. Diagram is shown. The volume of the sphere in terms of pi. So find the volume of the sphere. So in order to find the volume of the sphere, you need to know the equation for the volume of a sphere. Again, I'll bring that in the log table so you can see it, and we'll have a look. So the volume of a sphere is here. You can see the volume of a sphere. V for volume, it's 4 over 3 pi r cubed. 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Okay, so the volume of a sphere, we're looking at a sphere, we're looking at the volume, and it tells you here V represents the volume. So 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So we'll start off by saying the volume is equal to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. We know the radius is 18, so we can fill everything straight in from there. So we have 4 over 3 pi, and instead of r, I can say 18 to be cubed. So 4 over 3 pi times 18 times 18 times 18, and my answer there is 777. And like we did in the last question, you can press the ST button there and it'll give it to you in the nearest decimal, or in decimal form. So the answer was 24429.02447. I think I would have asked for that to 2 decimal places, so that would be going back to look at the number that follows. So the answer for that one would have been 24429.02, because if this was 5 or greater, this would round up to 3. Because it's less than 5, it just rounds off. And again, we're dealing with volume and we're dealing with centimeters, so it would be centimeters cubed. Okay, so that is that one. So that brings on to the next one. I'm just going to bring that area through, or that volume through to the next one, just so we can see. So with this volume here, I'm just going to keep an eye on that. I need to bring that through with me, and through there. Okay, so the volume for this one here, I'm just going to leave that in there. So the volume for the sphere, so the volume of the sphere I'm just going to leave the volume of the sphere there because that's important. And now the second question they asked was to find the height of the cylinder, right? So melt down. So the question in this case was find the height of the cylinder. So I'll just write that in for anyone who doesn't have that. Of the cylinder. Okay. So let's just go back and look. So we were asked to find the height of the cylinder. That's fine. We know the volume of the sphere, so we know the volume of this. A solid metal sphere of radius 18 centimeters is melted down and remolded into a solid cylinder of radius 36. So we were told that the volume is obviously the same. So the volume of the sphere, if it's melted down and cast into this, the volume of this is also going to be this. So the volume of the sphere will be the same, or the cylinder will obviously be the exact same. Okay, so what we need to look at now is the formula for the volume of a cylinder. So the formula for the volume of a cylinder is like is a prism because it has the same cross-sectional area the whole way along its length. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared, and we're multiplying that by h. So this pi r squared represents the area of the circle, and when we multiply it by h, that's multiplying it by the length. In this case, we're saying the height, okay, because it's gone up. So what we can say there is that pi times r squared times h will be equal to 24429.02. We know what the radius is, so we can fill that in. Pi times 36 all to be squared times height is equal to 24429.02. So all I've done there is filled in what the radius was. And everything on here, so everything that's here, that's highlighted, represents a number. Pi represents 3.14, blah, and so on. 36 squared represents a number. So I can type that into my calculator. So pi times 36 squared gives me a number. And that number is 4071.504079. Obviously, I still have h in this, is equal to 24429.02. So in order to find out what h is, I need to divide both sides by 24429.02. I need to divide that by all of this. I'm going to bring that over here. So my final answer will be 24429.02 divided by the answer, and that will give me a height of 5.99. So h will be equal to 5.999998901. But we leave it at that. If we went back 2 decimal places, we go back 1, 2, draw our line. That 9 will cause this 9 to round up to 10, so I'll put down a 0, carry the 1. It'll cause this to round up to 10, so I'll put down a 0, carry the 1. So my final answer for this one will be h is equal to 6.00 centimeters. Okay. Now, had you said 6 centimeters, you'd be correct. Had you said 6.0, you'd be correct. Had you said 6.00, you'd be correct. If you'd left it as 5.999 and so on, you'd lose a mark or 2 for rounding, but generally speaking, you've shown that you understand the question. So that's all the questions from the quiz, so I'm going to leave it at that.